Hello, everyone. It's been a minute, but I have returned. What held me up? Work, college work. Though in between the hustle and bustle of everyday life, I found time for the things I enjoy. And one of them just so happened to be today's topic. Now, I like reading. I enjoy the feeling of the pages, the scent of the ink, the feeling of superiority. The pretty pictures on the covers. And yes, along with my glasses and beautifully styled ascot, reading is indeed a part of my personality. Though reading is only a part of a larger hobby of mine, writing. I'll flaunt my works and achievements later. For right now, I want to tackle today's subject. As I get older, I'm starting to see more and more the average Joe does not like to read that much. And preface. This video isn't made to mock people for not reading. That's not my intention. I've just noticed that reading isn't as popular of a pastime anymore. Now, of course, people still read books. I'm not ignorant to that. All I'm saying is that in this wonderful community of ours, we applaud our artists of the brush and paint, rightfully so, but where are the accolades for the artists of the pen and paper? And this is a point of contention for me because I can't draw, at all. I've tried practicing and I've concluded that I'll always be a talentless hack, though I have found moderate success with literature. So forgive my bias when I see fellow writers not getting the same attention that their artist peers would get. So the question is, why? Simple answer, because at first glance, words on a page aren't as attractive as a pinup anther or wolf. I'm just stating facts. Not to mention a lot of people are honestly just impatient. Instant gratification is the name of the game. You can peruse through 20 pictures in the time it takes you to read through one paragraph. For the scholars at home, say it with me, ease of use. We're living in a day and age where mass amounts of media can be consumed in a relatively short amount of time. So, when it comes to furry art versus furry literature, it's obvious as why it's not as popular. Though why is it not appreciated more? I'm not here to make light of the work it takes someone to draw a picture. No, I'm here to raise awareness and rally support behind those who slave over original stories. It is no easy feat to create a story with a beginning, middle, end, interesting plot, captivating diction, vivid imagery, characters people actually like, etc., etc. It's beyond hard work. I'd even argue that everyone with basic motor abilities could draw a picture, but not everyone could tell even a semblance of a story. And to accent my point, I indeed have drawn and signed a picture. Looking at it again, I think it ain't half bad. Might need to look into opening commissions. But going back to what I said earlier about appreciation and ease of use, even under quarantine, we're all still busy people. Our measly 24 hours get divided by literally hundreds of different tasks and events. So imagine you've just worked an 8-hour shift at the local wage cage. You come home, maybe eat a bowl of microwave ramen, then flop onto the bed. You're tired but not sleepy, so you want to fill the time with something. Now, for most furs, I'd imagine that time would be split between like/stealing art on Twitter, deep diving through E621, and then maybe find a little time to e-beg for some coins on Amino and catch up on the latest mess from the herd of fur-tubing drama police. Now, with an eventful schedule like that, they aren't thinking about reading the latest smut fic from Femboy Sparkle 71. And to be fair, a large part of that is due to scholars. Say it again, please. The ease of use. In my opinion, there is no readily accessible app for sharing and writing furry stories. And before folks go racing into the comments, yes, I am aware, and have even used Wattpad, AO3, fanfiction.net, etc., etc. Actually, quick tangent about fanfiction.net. When Zootopia came out, I actually made the first and largest community for sharing Zootopia fanfiction. It's called All Things Zootopia, and even though I don't use fanfiction.net anymore, I was surprised to see the community still kicking and people still following it. Amazing. Truly, truly amazing. I'm a credit to the industry, I know. Anyhow, my issue with those sites is how content is presented. Unlike the greatest of all time, SoFurry, content is not organized into pools. This hurts illustrations, but it really hurts written work because it's another layer piled upon the likelihood of someone not reading what you wrote. Once you get past people's impatience, their preference for subject matter, or whether or not you're actually a good writer, the last thing anyone wants to deal with is visibility issues. And visibility is another thing that plays into the notion of ease of use. You know, oh man, how people consume media. If someone draws a bad picture, seconds to share and have others come to that consensus. But if I share a great story, it can take days before anyone even bothers to open the link to begin reading it. And I know it's not the fairest of comparisons. These two mediums are fundamentally different. Illustrating and writing are so complementary, yet so contrasting at the same time, it's truly maddening when you try to probe deeper into it. It's all cyclical. It goes back to how convenient it is to look at a few pictures and drop a like versus how much longer it would take to read a few paragraphs and leave subsequent feedback. That's always the basic issue. I know people don't hate furry authors and their works. Well, some do, but it's not a majority. Writing also has the disadvantage of being gated by languages. If you have a French writer who writes the hottest piece of furry smut ever, they'll only ever have French readers as their audience. A French artist can go and draw that same scene and have everyone around the world like it regardless of what language they speak. Like I said, everyone can draw, but not everyone can tell a story. And even then, how many can tell an actual good story? I just think of the struggle of a new Twitter artist that goes through trying to get noticed and build a community. And then I multiply that struggle 4 times for someone trying to build a community beyond written works. It's the hard knock life, truly. But I will concede that a problem that plagues the furry writing community is finishing projects. You know, Lord knows I'm guilty of this as well. But nothing is more annoying to a reader than following a great story and then bam, last update was 9 months ago with no word of continuations or cancellations. Furry writers love to start things they can't finish. I'm going to pick on one of my favorite authors on SoFurry actually, Mantrid Brizon. He's one of the best on the platform, in my humble opinion, and he's written 2 stories that rank up pretty high on Jeeves' porn with great plot recommendation list. Though he's also written a 36-chapter science fiction epic that hasn't been updated in over a year. He still claims he'll one day finish it, even though he has another more recent multi-chapter project that's unfinished and has plans to start a new macro universe. And he's a part of a larger issue in this sector of furry art. As authors, releasing sneak peeks or unfinished works can help to garner interest in future projects. But it's always a two-edged sword when things don't pan out. A digital artist can make a living off of releasing half-finished sketches, and people will still love and appreciate the time and effort that went into those. An author cannot build a rapport with their base from half-finished works. You get the reputation of being lazy, unmotivated, no drive, etc., etc. And to be fair, there's some precedent behind that. People don't like overdone suspense. They want resolution to stories, finishes to what was started. You can imagine my disappointment, when I invested all this time into reading this awesome saga and it just never got updated. And it never will be, honestly. I just have to make do with my own imaginations and headcanon for the rest of my days. Though I digress. Let's take a big step back and put on our thinking caps. If we look at this from a broader angle, truth be told, there's not much to raise hell about at, first glance. Furry writing, while niche, still does well and definitely has an audience. Like I said, people still read, and that includes furries. If I had the means to conduct an actual inquiry, I would wager that more people simply look at tits than read about them. And hey, I'm guilty as well. No escaping that pit. Though if I look at my own modest statistics on SoFurry, I certainly can't cry about visibility and lack of attention. I only rant because a selfish part of me wants there to be even more eyes on what we do. There are some fantastic authors on some of these platforms that you'd never find out about unless they were recommended to you or you just happen to stumble upon them. So I say all this to say, support your local furry authors. Take a step over the threshold and look into reading some. I promise you the journey is worth it for the nirvana that is excellent fur literature. Well, that's going to be all for me today. If you enjoyed this video or maybe found it illuminating, then I'd implore you to join my tutelage and subscribe to become a scholar as well. There's all types of furries, but my subscribers are the cream of the crop. I'm working to get back on some kind of schedule for video making. Like I said, work, college, and college work has really been murdering my free time without prejudice. It's upsetting. I think I'm going to aim to have a new video finished by Monday and published by Friday. I'll iron out the production kinks as I go along. And if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, please drop a comment below, and I'll definitely add it to my list. You are all lovely, and it's been fun. Ciao.